Do you think Trump should have been removed from Twitter?
No.
What's the pro case? Can you? I'm having fun here.
Steelman.
Can you steelman each
Yeah.
side?
Yeah. Let's steelman the get him off the platform. Here we have a guy who is virulent in all ways. He promotes confrontation. He lacks decorum. He incites the fervent believers of his cause to act up and push the boundaries, bordering on and potentially even including breaking the law. He does not observe the social norms of a society that keep us well functioning, including an orderly transition of power. If he is left in a moment where he feels trapped and cornered, he could behave in ways that will confuse the people that believe in him, to act in ways that they so regret that it could bring our democracy to an end, or create so much damage or create a wound that's so deep, it will take years of conflict and years of confrontation to heal it. We need to remove him, and we need to do it now. It's been too long. We've let it go on too long. The other side of the argument would be he was a duly elected person whose views have been run over for way too long. And he uses the ability to say extreme things in order to showcase how corrupt these systems have become and how insular these organizations are in protecting their own class. And so if you really want to prevent class warfare, and if you really want to keep the American dream alive for everybody, we need to show that the First Amendment, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, all of this infrastructure is actually bigger than any partisan view, no matter how bad it is. And that people will make their own decisions. And there are a lot of people that can see past the words he uses and focus on the substance of what he's trying to get across, and more generally agree than disagree. And so when you silence that voice, what you're effectively saying is this is a rigged game, and all of those things that we were told were not true are actually true.
If you were to look at the crude algorithms of Twitter, of course, I don't have any insider knowledge, but I could imagine that they saw let's say there's a metric that measures how negative the experience is of the platform. And they probably saw in several ways you could look at this, but the presence of Donald Trump on the platform was consistently increasing how shitty people are feeling, short-term and long-term, because they're probably yelling at each other, having worse and worse and worse experience. If you even do a survey of how do you feel about using this platform over the last week, they would say horrible relative to maybe a year ago when Donald Trump was not actively tweeting or so on. So here you're sitting at Twitter and saying, okay, I know everyone's talking about speech and all that kind of stuff, but I kind of want to build a platform where the users are happy and they're becoming more and more unhappy. How do I solve this happiness problem? Well, let's ban the sources of the unhappiness. Now, we can't just say you're a source of unhappiness, so we'll ban you. Let's wait until that source says something that we can claim breaks our rules, like incites violence or so on.
That would work if you could measure your construct of happiness properly. The problem is, I think what Twitter looked at were active commenters and got it confused for overall system happiness. Yes. Because for every piece of content that's created on the internet, of the 100 people that consume it, maybe 1 or 2 people comment on it. And so by over-amplifying that signal and assuming that it was the plurality of people, that's where they actually made a huge blunder. Because there was no scientific method, I think, to get to the answer of deplatforming him. And it did expose this idea that it's a bit of a rigged game and that there are these deep biases that some of these organizations have to opinions that are counter to theirs and to their orthodox view of the world.
So in general, you lean towards keeping, first of all, presidents on the platform, but also controversial voices
all the time. I think it's really important to keep them there.